In life, almost everyone has probably heard of the term sleepwalking. It's a phenomenon where a person, while still asleep, suddenly sits up and starts talking to an invisible figure, or gets up and begins walking around. In some extreme cases, they may even walk on dangerous ledges, rooftops, balconies on the third or fourth floor, or even operate a car or motorbike with their eyes still closed. Yet once the episode is over, they return to normal with no memory of what just happened. There have been many explanations for this mysterious condition. Some say it's caused by spirits or by being possessed by entities from the beyond. But from a scientific point of view, sleepwalking is mostly linked to disruptions in the brain's cerebral cortex. So, what's the truth behind it? Let's explore this strange phenomenon together. First, let me share with you some real-life stories. The ABC News once reported an incident that happened early Saturday morning, July 25, 2005, in Dulwich, southeast London. A passerby was shocked to spot a figure curled up on a crane beam, towering 40 meters above the ground. Emergency crews quickly arrived and carefully rescued the person without waking her abruptly. It turned out to be a 15-year-old girl who had sleepwalked all the way up there. The rescuers allowed her to wake up naturally before bringing her down safely. Another case took place in 2009. Rachel Ward, an 18-year-old student from the UK, fell from a second-story window during a sleepwalking episode. She had suddenly gotten up, climbed onto the windowsill, and stepped down onto the lawn below, where she panicked and cried for help. Strangely enough, when her parents took her to the hospital, Rachel was completely unharmed. She simply fell back asleep and was discharged the next day with no memory of what had happened the night before. Perhaps the most chilling story belongs to Robert Ledru, a renowned 19th century French detective. Once, he was involved in investigating a mysterious murder case concerning André Monet, who was shot dead on a beach in Le Havre. The case proved challenging due to the killer leaving only a single bullet and peculiar footprints at the scene. Notably, the killer's footprints were missing a toe, and coincidentally, Detective Ledru himself had feet missing a toe. Even more unsettling, Ledru realized the bullet found at the scene was identical to the type he commonly used. The victim was killed by the seaside, and that very morning, the detective had woken up with wet socks on his feet. Despite his shock, the celebrated detective concluded that he himself was the culprit and turned himself in to the police. Ledru confessed that he suffered from sleepwalking, a condition he believed stemmed from contracting syphilis in his youth. Initially, the police couldn't believe that Robert Ledru was the killer, so they tested him by locking him in a room with a gun at night. The result was astonishing. They witnessed Ledru pick up the gun and attempt to escape. Consequently, the famed detective was convicted of murder. Due to his sleepwalking condition, he was not sentenced to prison, but was sent to a remote countryside farm to avoid harming others. To revisit the concept of sleepwalking, according to the NCBI, National Center for Biotechnology Information, from a medical science perspective, sleepwalking is a sleep disorder where individuals wake up at night and engage in normal activities such as cooking, drinking tea, or cleaning, all while unaware of their actions. When these actions escalate beyond harmless behaviors to include rape, violence, or even murder, sleepwalking becomes a legal issue. This phenomenon remains perplexing to both medicine and law. Scientists explain that sleep is divided into two phases: rapid eye movement, REM sleep, and non-rapid eye movement, NREM sleep. When lying down, people typically enter NREM sleep first. During this phase, thoughts begin to drift, responsiveness to external stimuli decreases, and muscle activity slows. After NREM, individuals transition to REM sleep, where dreams occur, accompanied by certain brain activities. If someone tries to wake a person during this phase, they often wake up slightly disoriented, Researchers believe that normally the human body's biological mechanisms facilitate a smooth transition from deep NREM sleep to REM sleep through coordinated nerve and muscle activity. However, in some individuals, this mechanism fails, causing a disruption between the two sleep phases. This results in a hybrid state of wakefulness and unconsciousness, where individuals perform actions without awareness. Such behaviors may include talking, shouting, or even physically lashing out. Over time, sleepwalking emerges as a collection of varied activities, ranging from walking to driving, recurring over multiple nights, and sometimes involving violence. This is considered a sleep disorder, most commonly observed in males aged 7 to 15. These episodes typically last from a few minutes to an hour and may occur once a month or multiple nights a week. Sleepwalkers are often unaware of their surroundings, sounds, smells, or even pain. Waking a sleepwalker is difficult, and attempting to do so may provoke violent reactions. Medical researchers also suggest that sleepwalking is linked to a combination of sleep disorders and degenerative neurological conditions, such as Parkinson's disease, dementia, or muscle atrophy. Evidence shows that over 2/3 of patients initially diagnosed with sleep disorders later develop symptoms of mental health conditions. If left untreated, most sleep disorders worsen over time. According to scientists, stress, sleep deprivation, drug use, or excessive medication can heighten the risk of sleep disorders, including sleepwalking. If prolonged, the condition becomes more severe, and sleepwalkers may exhibit increasingly violent behaviors, potentially endangering lives. Researchers further explain that sleepwalking has both genetic and environmental triggers, including real-life violent tendencies, making it particularly dangerous. Neurologist Antonio Oliviero from the National Hospital for Paraplegics in Toledo, Spain, who has studied sleepwalking for years, notes that if a child has a disruption in the neurotransmitter GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, or if their parents have a history of sleepwalking, the likelihood of the child developing the condition rises to 45% to 60%. Moreover, individuals with depression are 3 times more likely to experience sleepwalking than healthy individuals. Those with Tourette's syndrome, a neurological disorder, face a 4-6 times higher risk of sleepwalking compared to those without such conditions. Neurologists classify sleepwalking into 2 types, simple and high risk. In simple sleepwalking, individuals may sit up in bed, talk or wave their limbs. They might stand, walk around, mumble, and then return to sleep. This form is generally harmless, lasts about 10 minutes, and occurs a few times a month depending on triggers. In high-risk sleepwalking, episodes last longer than 10 minutes and recur 2-3 times a week. These individuals may engage in dangerous actions, potentially harming themselves or others. Experts also offer guidance for families with a sleepwalker. The priority is ensuring their safety. Have them sleep on the ground floor in a room free of sharp or dangerous objects. Windows should be securely locked at night, and installing a bell on doors can alert others if they are opened. If you find a sleepwalker wandering, climbing stairs, or near balconies, avoid calling out to them, especially loudly, or pulling them abruptly. Such actions could shift their unconscious state to consciousness, causing disorientation. Instead, gently take their hand and guide them back to bed. Experts note that since their actions are driven by the subconscious, sleepwalkers are typically compliant when guided calmly. Shouting or pulling them may lead to confusion or aggression. According to experts, there is currently no medical cure for sleepwalking. For adults experiencing episodes that pose a risk to themselves or others, consulting a psychiatrist is recommended. Under no circumstances should sleepwalkers be taken to shamans or spiritual healers, as this not only fails to address the condition, but may also cause further harm. What are your thoughts on sleepwalking? Do you believe the scientific explanation that it results from disruptions in the brain's cortex during sleep, or do you think it's caused by possession? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to follow our upcoming videos